Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Dale, I've got my servers. What else do I need? Well, typically, an attacker is going to go after one of your desktop machines first in order to make his way into your servers. So, we're going to go through in this module here and look at how to install and configure your desktop virtual machines. Now, those desktop machines are going to include Windows 8.1, Windows 7, and Kali. So we'll take you through one at a time, show you how to install those. The reason why we have Windows 7 and Windows 8.1 is to show you that the tools may or may not work on certain platforms, as well as these could be targets themselves and what you need to look at. Kali itself is actually just a operating system that is used for pen testing, and we're going to be using it to actually do the pen test. So after we install the OSs, we'll then go through and show you how to, just like our servers, we're going to go through and disable and enable certain features just so that it works the way that we want it to work in the lab, so you can see the demonstration or the theory. We'll also go through, you remember those user accounts? Yeah, I see you're getting hooked on some characters now, aren't you? We're going to go through and create those same accounts on these boxes. We won't create it on the Kali box. We'll actually just use a root account, and we'll talk about the root account briefly when we get there. And then afterwards, it's extremely important that you at least watch the housekeeping section. The housekeeping section, we've got some things we need to go through and do. Basically, it's making some snapshots to make sure that we can come back if we goof something up, as well as making sure that we reactivate all the machines so we get some additional time with those trial OSs. So let's go fire up some more VMs. Okay, so in this section, we're going to go through and actually install Windows 8.1 as a virtual machine. We're going to use this in the future courses to either be a target or to implement an attack. And so let's just jump right back into our Hyper-V manager. So you can see here we've got both our ethical hacking servers up and running. So I'm going to come over here and select I'd like to create a new virtual machine. Here comes our 4-hour wizard again. I'm going to call this one EH Windows 8.1, and I'm going to select to put this in a different location. We're going to back up here to my CEH project folder under my VMs, select a folder, hit next. Again, a lot of similarities as we set these up as far as the same steps are concerned. We then are going to specify the memory. This one I might throw a little bit more RAM at just because I'm going to be running some apps on it as well as the Windows 7 box. So I'm going to throw a whopping 248 at this one. And I'm going to also hook it into my hacking network so it can communicate with those machines. And then again, here comes the virtual disk. It's going to create that VHDX file in the following directory structure area, and then specify the number, the amount of hard drive space. Again, just leaving the defaults all works perfectly for you here. And then I'm going to come in here and install this one again from an ISO, and that ISO is going to be, yes, thank you, Windows 8.1 trial. I'm going to hit next, finished. And now let's connect up to that bad boy and start her up so we can get her done. Okay, so the first thing is, again, confirm our language. We're going to go ahead and hit next. So I'm going to select to install now. Now, when we see Windows 8.1, a lot of people get confused or frustrated, and here's how I help you to get past that. I get it. I mean, I wasn't real thrilled about the interface initially as well. We refer to it as the Metro interface. Well, excuse me, officially we're supposed to call it the Modern UI interface. Let's go ahead and continue, and I'm going to continue talking to you while it still installs. We're going to specify again here a custom installation, select the total hard drive space available, and now we'll go down my lecture here of Windows 8.1. So they came out with this interface, and I get it. By the way, my idea, remember how Windows 7 was my idea? That whole marketing campaign? It was my idea. No, I'm kidding. My idea for Windows 8.8.0 and even 8.1 would have been, you know what, during installation, how about just ask the end user if A, this is a laptop or a tablet, and B, do you have a touch screen or not? And if you didn't have a tablet and you didn't have a touch screen, then it would just take you to the standard desktop. See, look, if Microsoft would just call me, I could save them billions. In fact, I should bill them. Now, so if you remember Windows 7, one of the coolest things about Windows 7 is that you can type what you want to do. And you'll see that, you saw that with Windows Server 2008. You're going to see me do this also with with Windows 7, is that I just type. I don't go searching for things inside of the menu system. If you follow that same concept, you'll feel much more comfortable inside of Windows 8.1. Just type what you want to do, because the Metro interface is just an interface to get you to the same consoles that you're going to see popping up on you. Okay, again, this is going to try to install some updates, but again, we don't have internet access, so it'll just go through that quickly. Now we're going to finish up and reboot. And again, we're going to see the famous green line go across. You can select to restart now, or you could continue talking like I am to see what happens when the green line finishes out, or at least to show you. How'd I do, huh? Okay, we'll let this reboot. Same concept here too. If you want to go ahead and eject that CD or that DVD, you can do that. And that way there you won't see that press any key every time it reboots. It's doing a plug and play. It's getting ready. It's getting ready. Who's a good little computer? Get ready. Okay, so the first thing I get to do is choose my color sequence I want to use. Hot dog. Should we go with hot dog? Oh, no, hot dog doesn't have white or yellow. Remember hot dog? Anybody? We'll just, I'm going to take a conservative color here. We'll just do a little dark bluish. And we're going to give the computer a name. The name will be obviously Windows 8.1. I don't think it'll let me do a point. Nope. Okay, so the first thing I get to do is choose my color sequence I want I don't ever use Express settings, and this is just my rule in general with anything. Remember hot dog, because I want to know what's going on. I'm going to take Express conservative color here. We'll just do a little dark additional toolbars, and we're going to give the computer name. The name will be obviously. You guys are all chuckling now, aren't you? You're like, yeah, no joke, Dale. Here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this is a public network. So the first thing I'm going to do is known network. Choose next color sequence. And the reason for this is to find other networks. Don't ever use Express settings. And this is just my rule in general. Yes, this is my work network because and it's going to actually go through and try to obtain a nice color here. We'll just do additional toolbars. That's fine. And we're going to give the computer name. I'm a failure. Name will be obviously. You guys are all chuckling now, aren't you? You're like, yeah, no joke, Dale. Yeah, folks. Here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this is a public. Okay, so the first thing so it's going through here and asking next updates are concerned, and the reason for this is to find out my don't ever use Express settings. And this is just my rule. You can go through. Yes, this is my work network because and it's going to actually go through and try to obtain a nice conservative color here. We'll just do additional toolbars. That's fine. Now we're getting the computer, and the reason why it's looking for one is because Windows 8.1 is really chuckling into or link into. Here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this is a public network. Okay, so it's going through here and asking next updates are concerned, and the reason for this is to find out don't ever use Express settings because this is just my internet access. Yes, this is my work network because and it's going to actually go through my local account and it's that's fine. Now we're getting the computer, and the reason why it's looking for one is because Windows 8.1 is really chuckling into and our password can't here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this is a public network. Okay, so it's going through here and asking next updates are concerned, and the reason for this is to find out don't ever use Express settings because this is just my internet access. Yes, this is my work network and it's going to actually go through my local account and it's nobody would be able to get it. And the reason why it's looking for one is because the password hand is really chuckling blank actually, and our password can't here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this is a public network. Okay, so it's going through here and asking next updates are concerned, and the reason for this is to find out don't ever use Express settings because this is just my internet access. Yes, this is my work network and it's going to actually go through my local account and nobody would be able to get it. And the reason why it's looking for one is because the password hand is really chuckling blank actually, and our password can't here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this is a public network. Okay, so it's going through here and asking next updates are concerned, and the reason for this is to find out don't ever use Express settings because this is just my internet access. Okay, so here's our desktop. Well, the first thing I'm going to do and the reason why it's looking for one is the password and actually, and our password. Here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this can be here. So first thing, okay, so it's going to be and there is so much less we're going to put this concept. Here's our desktop. And the first thing I'm going to do is the reason why it's looking for one is the password here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this can be here. So it's going to be network and there is so much less we're going to put this concept. Here's our desktop. And the first thing I'm going to do is the reason why it's looking for one is the password. Here's the network settings. It's asking basically if this can be here. So it's going to be network and there is so much we're going to put this concept. Here's our desktop. And the first thing I'm going to do wall, and there's my link to the firewall. And we're going to come in here and just, again, similar interface, just turn off the firewall. And then we're going to go and create the new users, Dale. That's right. And I'm going to do this again under my admin tools. There's actually a couple different ways. I'll show both of them to you here. This is our admin tools, but we'll go ahead and go back into start and type in users. And you notice here I have a link to a add, delete, manage your users. This is a full screen Metro app. And look, they're giving me a nice little, hey, you can put your mouse down here and see how things are done, but we're not going to do that. So I can create a user account from here by selecting to create an account. The first user, we already created Bruce Wayne, so the next one we need to create is D. Grayson. Give him a password of Robin. And his hint will be sidekick. We'll hit next. There's his account, asks if it's going to be a child account so it can turn on some family safety features. This is only part of a home-based PC. Again, when you join the domain, you don't get that option. I'm going to hit finished, and you can see there's the account. Now, let me show you how to get rid of this interface if you don't want it. I'm just going to come up to the top. You notice how the window came up. And in Windows 8.1, they actually gave us a close button, thank heavens, or a minimize button. If you're running Windows 8, you can just come up here and I'm going to grab it by doing a left click and dragging down. And you drag all the way down to swipe it away, and that turns it off. So again, and trust me, if you've ever played around with Windows 8 on a tablet, it makes total sense. But on a desktop, I don't do a lot of swiping with a mouse. Okay, so that was one way of creating an account. The other way is coming here into the computer management inside of the admin tools. And you can just do the, you can create your user accounts however you want. If you want to do it through a PowerShell, by all means, feel free to go through and do that if you'd like. Here are my users. You'll see that Dick Grayson's in here. Bruce Wayne. Hey, look, it didn't allow me to put in his full name. We set that up. So we can come in and edit this one and put in his full name of Bruce Wayne. There we go. Oh, and Dick Grayson. Wow, that wizard didn't do very good either. His full name is Dick Grayson. So let's create a new user account just by right-clicking. Select a new user, and this will be H. Jordan, which is Hal Jordan. And his password is green because, yes, the Green Lantern, the first Green Lantern. Hit create. And then the next one is C. Kent Clark. Whoops. Kent. Password was super. Doesn't have to change. And we'll close that. Let's take a look here. Got all 4 accounts. Sweet. Okay, I'm going to want to go through and also turn off things like my screensaver. So we're going to go to screen. Again, just type what you want to do. Don't be afraid. Oops, saver. Turn it off or on. Oh, it's currently off. That's cool. And then I'm going to also just double check. I'm going to open up again. I'm going to type in, watch this, PowerShell. And I'm going to elevate this one up just for giggles. So you can right click and run as administrator if you'd like. You don't necessarily need to do this. I'm just going to, or you don't need to add it as, run it as administrator, but we're going to open up a PowerShell command prompt. I'm going to, again, change this up so you guys can see it when we're demoing. And we'll change our colors again. It'll be a black background, again, with our wonderful yellow text. And we're just going to simply do a ping. 192.168.010. Hey, we're working. And just for giggles, why not? 15. Hey, we're working. Okay, we're going to go ahead. I'm not going to exit this. I'm just going to clear the screen. And we're going to go ahead and minimize that. Okay, so that's how you set up a Windows 8.1 box virtually for our lab environment. Up next, we're going to fire up a Windows 7 box. Okay, in this section, we're going to install our Windows 7 box. Again, we're going to see a lot of similarities here, except for there's a couple of configuration options we have to do before. The setup's going to go relatively easy, a lot faster, though, because the virtual machine's already been created for us. Let me show you what I mean. So if you remember, we went and downloaded several different files that actually were a virtualized version of Windows 7 already. And we saved them to our CEH project folder. we went through and double clicked and installed or not actually installed, the installation program actually just uncompresses these files into one big file, which we then had placed inside of this directory called Windows 7. And there it is right there. It's the Windows 7 VHD. Notice it's about 13 gigs in size. This VCM file, you can actually totally whack that one if you'd like. This is actually leftover from the virtualization that this was created for. This machine was created to run inside of Virtual PC. And we're going to have a little bit of a problem here. Well, not really a major problem, but it's something we're going to have to kind of jump through some hoops. And that is because the virtualization was based off of Virtual PC, there are some plugins that are installed on this virtual machine that we'll need to uninstall. And in order for this to work, what's going to happen is you're going to see the mouse will not work in the environment initially until we remove those add-ins for Virtual PC. And so that's going to be the first thing that we actually try to accomplish. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And let's go ahead and bring up our Hyper-V server platform and go ahead and create a new machine. Let's go through our standard wizard here, create a new virtual machine. I'm going to hit next. This one's going to be called Windows Windows 7. We're going to store this in a different location than the default. Again, I'm going to just put this inside of CEH, inside of my VMs. I'm going to hit select the folder, hit next. We'll take a Gen 1, assign memory. I'm going to bump this one up also to 2 gigs, just because I plan on running either the application, some of our hacking tools in the future here, either on the 7 box or on the Windows 8.1 box. I'm going to hit next. Again, I'm going to select to use the hacking network. Hit next again. And here's where it's saying, hey, where do you want to create this VHD file, or in this case here, the VHDX file? Well, I don't want to create it because I already have it. So this is where I'd say stop, slow down. We're going to actually, in this case, select to use an existing hard disk. And you'll notice here that it's going to point directly to my Hyper-V machines, but that's not where it's located. I'm going to back up here to my D drive, come into my CEH project folder. Inside of Windows 7, there it is right there, that same VHD file. Remember, it was about 13 gigs. We'll go ahead and attach that, hit next, get our summary screen, hit finished. Okay, let's go ahead and fire this bad boy up. We'll connect up to it and hit actions and start. This is going to go a lot faster as far as the installation is concerned because there is no install. Somebody built up at Microsoft, built up these files, and pop, we're ready to go. See how fast that was to install? If only all Microsoft installations went this easy. Now, the downside here, folks, is that you'll notice my screen's a little bit smaller because, again, these are the extensions or the add-ins for Virtual PC. So you can see my mouse is not working. I can't click on anything. I can use my tab and arrow keys to navigate from here. You'll notice that the admin account is currently highlighted. If I use my right key, I have the administrator account highlighted. And of course, if I use my left key, I can navigate back. I can use my tab key to navigate to the accessibility icon in the bottom left-hand corner. If I hit it again, I'm going to go to my power button. Hit it again, I'm going to hit my up arrow key on my power button. Hit it again, and I'm going to go back to my admin account. We're going to go ahead and log in as admin. And the default password, we didn't build this. Well, I'm going to just show you what they did on this particular machine. I'm just going to type in a couple characters and hit enter. It tells me it's the wrong password. But look what they did with the password hint. Yeah, they actually tell you what the password is. And I've actually seen that in the real world, which is kind of scary. So I'm going to go ahead and type this in, PASSWORD1. And that should let me in. Now I'm going to see several things pop up here. I'm going to activate later by using arrow down and hit enter. As far as my activation is concerned, I'm going to tab over till I get to the OK button, hit enter. And it tells me I need to restart. That's actually the plug and play portion. I can't tab over. I've lost focus there. And that's okay. We're going to restart later anyway. My goal here is to get in and turn off the Virtual PC files. So I'm going to hit my window key, and I'm going to just simply type in program, if I can spell right. And you'll notice about 4 or 5 down here, I've got my add remove programs. I hit enter, and it shows me a list of programs that I currently have installed on this box. So my mouse isn't working in this environment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tab key to tab until I see the Adobe Flash Player 10 ActiveX program highlighted. And there it is. It's highlighted. I'm going to now use my down arrow key to scroll all the way to the bottom to where it says Virtual PC Integration Component. I'm going to hit Enter. The default when you're inside of the Programs and Features is that when you hit Enter or double click on it, it's to uninstall. So that makes things a little easier here. So I just simply hit the Enter key. I'm going to then use my left arrow key to select Yes, I want to uninstall. Here's the UAC saying that, are you sure you want to do this because you're about to make a modification? Hit Yes. And then finally it's going to say you need to restart. And thank heavens, yes, I need to restart, so I get my mouse back. So I'm going to hit Yes. Okay, now you'll notice my display increased because Windows 7 is synthetic, meaning with Hyper-V, it passes through the hypervisor, it passes through drivers, both a mouse and display. That's one of the advantages of going to Hyper-V. I'm going to go ahead and highlight my admin and go ahead and log back in with our older password of password 1. And the first thing I want to do is create some consistency. First of all, I need to activate this later, but the consistency I'm talking about is I want to change the password for this account. We'll go ahead and close that. And the easiest way to